Crew3 podcast. I was recommended with me, as always, is my co-host Ricky.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man.
Wait,
Oh yeah, you're gonna do the salute for Chris?
for Chris, right? Yeah.
Chris, yeah. So unfortunately, Chris couldn't be here this week. We had a bit of a shifting recording schedule. Well, that's okay. We'll catch him next week as per usual. It's busy time, you know. Everyone's got a lot of stuff going on.
That man's always busy.
Man he is the grind.
He is a professional cat herder, but like worse because they're like high school graduates, like beginning college, arrogant teenagers.
Yeah,
but also cats.
Yeah. So this week, I mean, look, I think this is gonna be a fun week, Ricky. So to start things off, we have some news on RCQ formatting that came out kind of late last week after we recorded. So we're going to talk about that exciting news. Ricky and I played some RCQs this weekend. We're going to kind of recap for you all. We're going to take a bit of an apple juice break, and then we'll be back with just kind of some thoughts on the overall Pioneer metagame as we head into the Pro Tour Philadelphia next weekend.
Right.
I think it's pretty safe to say that I don't think we'll see a lot of the breakout decks or new decks showing up online this weekend for the line, but we'll talk about early decks next week.
And the next two Pro Tours are both Pioneer, right?
I believe so. Have they announced? I think they actually announced the Pro Tour formats.
Wait, actually. So the next Pro Tour is standard because the RC is standard. And then after that is Pioneer, and then is Modern. Because the whole point is that they want, which we're getting to the changes, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to break down those changes real quick?
Yeah, so real quick, for those who didn't see the announcement, going forward, and I mean, it's a question that I think we had when they brought back this RCQ format, was going forward, now they are just single constructed format or limited, right? To match the regional championship, to match the Pro Tour. And I think what the problems they're addressing with this are essentially the problems that we kind of envisioned, which was, look, if you're having, like, it's kind of nice to, like, every season have events to play in, but it's really awkward to, like, oh, I qualified for, it's like, I won a Pioneer event, but now I have to go play the standard regional championship, right? Like, and so I think just the pulling everyone in different directions, while is great for areas that have multiple stores and can run and support multiple formats, it really isn't feasible for smaller areas who are kind of locked out of other formats. And
right.
So I think that's kind of the big argument we've seen, especially like in our
You have sealed.
Yeah, right.
Like, I love all these changes. I think these changes are perfect because people were getting confused. They were winning modern tournaments, right? Yeah. And they're like, what do you mean I play Pioneer now? Like, what do you mean I got to go play Standard in San Diego, right? And so, like, making it like, okay, if you played Standard to qualify, you're going to play Standard again, right? And I like that. I think that's good. And for those people, like, if it's a modern season, right? Mm-hmm. And some areas might not have a big modern scene, or like, modern cards are expensive and stuff like that. They can also run sealed. They can always run sealed, right?
Yeah. The other option too is, like, it sucks to say, but like, if your store doesn't have like one of these format scenes, or they don't want to run like a limited event, it's not hard to just not have that event and just say, like, we're just going to run a 1K, right? Or we're just going to run a 5K instead of it being an RCQ.
I don't think that's my opinion. Strictly my opinion, right? Like, it's okay if it's like, oh, I don't play Modern. Oh, I don't want to play Pioneer. Oh, I don't want to play Standard, right? But sure. To be like, I don't want to play Modern, and also I don't want to play Sealed, is just kind of like, well, what do you want to play, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
It's just like they give you two options that are very different, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're very good options, right? Standby is sealed. And I understand some sealed formats are not as fun, like New Capenna, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so I just think that, like, it's good that there's an option still. and that also you won't confuse players by making them come up and play modern events. And it's like, oh, what happens now? It's like, oh, if you go to San Diego, you get to play in the next one, and they show up with their modern decks in San Diego, right?
Hmm.
Like, not that that could happen exactly, but I mean, like, that could happen. That is happening, right? People are absolutely confused about what they've actually qualified for, where it is. I mean, it's kind of easy here because it just follows DreamHack, and DreamHack is big enough to kind of promote it, right? But
Sure.
like in other areas, like in Canada and stuff like that, like it's harder to like. I don't think that information is as well broadcast as it is at DreamHack, right? So like DreamHack will send you 20 million emails being like, make sure you signed up for the standard,
Yeah.
thingamabob, right? So
And I think it's also important. I think like the other argument is just like, well, this kind of sucks for the large areas that we're lucky enough to be in, where it's like that can support modern and pioneer, right? Like, let's be honest, no one's running standard RCQs right now. I feel like there are very few limited RCQs, and that's kind of a shame because I think I would love to play some standard RCQs. Even like I
I'd love
standard,
to love it at RCQs.
yeah, right. And but then you also have smaller areas where they only have like one or two stores, and they're just going to always run modern. And it's like, do you price the community who doesn't really have like a budget or doesn't really like modern to always run those formats? Give those people a chance to play limited if the store doesn't want to run pioneer, if the store doesn't want to run standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
mean,
just
this is how it used to be.
yeah.
Like if the Pro Tour was block constructed, then oh boy, every PTQ that was 300 players and you traveled for, right,
Yeah.
was block constructed.
I just don't understand why like has everyone just become too compartmentalized in their own format identity that like this is a problem, whereas like even 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, no one batted an eye at this.
I think so. Like I think that like uh who you are like is what you format you play, that's strictly your identity. And I've been showing up to modern events around my area recently because there's some modern PTQs I would like to qualify in, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting games in, getting practice where I can, getting playtesting in, and like somebody points me out as like, oh, you're that guy that hates modern, and I'm like, I do. It's like, I want to qualify though, so I'll play any format. Like I don't not enjoy playing Magic. I just think that Pioneer has better play patterns. I think that the modern card pool is really locked up on like these, and like the modern design kind of like mantra of just print better cards, right? Is boring, and it's not fun for like longer events that I have to put like a substantial price behind,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like, yeah, I would much rather be playing Pioneer always, but I don't mind like, oh, it's modern season, let's play some modern cards, right?
Sure.
So
Or you
I,
have people like me who are just like, I'm not anti-modern. I just like have no interest. And like, you know what? Having like 3 months off of like grinding and just maybe find a limited one here or there, I'm excited.
heck yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean that's gonna be good too. I like stores that have two, like the stores that can run two. There's
Uh-huh.
no way they don't like put one limited, one non like limited, right?
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
And like the stores that just only run the modern one and they never run the Pioneer one. And I want to talk to a store here
Mm-hmm.
about next season because it's Pioneer, right? And they've been a store that's like exclusively only done modern for
Yeah.
PTQs, right? I want to look into like maybe like becoming a part of that event,
Mm-hmm.
like a Crew 3 con, like but for real this time, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like they're a good store. I like that store a lot, and I would really like to like I don't know do something where we promote the ever living
Yeah.
heck
Well, it
out of
sounds
that.
kind of it sounds like unofficially DreamHack Dallas is going to be a Crew 3 con with all the people on Discord talking about going.
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to be Crew 3 con also. We're going to
Yeah.
open our own booth,
Yeah.
so it'll be fine.
How big of a van can I rent to take everyone to Boosie's?
Uh, we'll have to rent a really big van.
We're just going to
Uh,
get a U-Haul truck and just throw everyone in the back.
yeah. We need to. We might need to like talk about getting a booth,
Yeah.
not like an actual like vendor booth or anything like that, right? But like
Okay.
reserving like time, like get the couches again, right? And just
Oh,
like
I'm down.
it'll be like
I,
Santa's lap, right? But way
yeah.
cooler.
Yeah. I want to get the couches again.
Right, exactly. And we'll
Also,
just cycle everyone through. Everybody comes on, they sit on the sofa, they ask some question about Pioneer,
yeah.
or they show us a deck, we slap rate it, and then they
Yeah.
slide out, right?
Yeah.
Put the next one in. It'll be dope. I'm
I think it'll
excited
be,
about
yeah.
DreamHack Dallas.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so I mean, look, I think do we talk about our grind now?
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Also, apparently my wife just texted me. Apparently, two mystery plates, like two mystery seafood platters of catfish, were just delivered to our door. We
Run,
did not. We yeah, right. We did
run.
not. I've seen Knock at the Cabin.
Have you? It is not out
Oh,
yet, so that's
yeah.
impressive. Oh man, I went out to a one slaughter RCQ in somewhere in the Houston area, but nobody would
It
call it Houston.
was in Conroe.
Sure, I was like, "This is Houston," and they're just like, "This isn't Houston." And I was like, "All right, whatever it is, here we are."
Yeah.
And it was I prepped for a field of a lot of boats and mono white, and I did see a lot of mono white.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the trend we've seen since the last RCQ we played. It was just like mono white's way up in paper. It feels like, at least in our area.
Right. Well, because like, and we'll get to it as we break down the archetypes a little bit later. But like, mono white has a bad matchup against Rakdos, but like Rakdos is kind of like snoozing,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in paper at least, you know. So I just think that it was a wild event. 32 players, undefeated, drawn in with fan of the show Gargs.
Oh man, can we talk about his deck list, by the way?
Sure, his deck was insane.
You
It
got a
was
picture?
like
I
you
can
have a
throw up
picture,
a
so you can
screen.
send it up. Yeah,
All right, cool.
it was just like Phyrexian Obliterator plus like fight effects, and
This
like
is also
every land was
here.
every land was black, and also another color, and it was like thought seizes, no fatal pushes because we want to play tail swipes and Dramoka's commands, and then like Glissas and Phyrexian Obliterators and Phyrexian Arenas and Gideon Sacrifice.
Gideon Sacrifice?
Yeah, target a creature you control.
Yeah. For those at home, what does Gideon Sacrifice do?
Yeah, one white, target a creature you control. The next time you would take damage this turn, redirect that damage to that creature instead.
So it's instant speed pariah.
Right. Instant speed pariah for one turn.
Yeah.
And you target your Phyrexian Obliterator and you say no blocks. And then your opponent takes. You take no damage, your Obliterator dies, and your opponent sacrifices like 6 to 14 permanents, depending.
Jeez.
Your mileage may vary.
What does opponent do?
Lose.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. You know, he made top 8. I think he ran into mono green, which is a little rough. It's a deck that doesn't actually attack.
Yeah.
So that was brutal. But against all the mono white decks, that was insane.
Yeah, they can't brutal Catharate. No, they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah.
But, you know, that it was insane. Watching him play was amazing. Then I got second place because I lost to mono white in the finals after beating it all day.
No, Ricky.
He was a really good player. He's a Houston grinder, very good Houston player.
It was Gabe, right?
It was Gabe, and he played everything really tight and really well. And I got jaggled by a Nijongo in game 1.
Yeah.
That I just like wasn't. There's no way I could play around that Nijongo. There's no way.
Just the fact that also that Gabe switched to mono white as he was like hard in Rakdos, I think really says a lot about where the deck is right now.
Rakdos cannot beat any version of Enigmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just a impossible matchup.
And there was like 5 there in that event, right?
Yeah, I beat one of them.
Yeah,
they had Elishnorn. It's kind of cool.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
It does not stop phoenixes from having haste.
No, it does not. No.
No. But all in all, a really well run event.
I like this store a lot. I think it's a great store.
Comics Connection.
Yep, in Conroe, Texas.
Their only downside is their timer is like a YouTube video of a timer.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of funny. And there are comic boxes everywhere.
Half the store is also Funko Pops.
Yeah. There's a giant, like as tall as me, Funko Pop of Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Wild. But great store, great staff, good judge.
Uh-huh.
Can't say that often, you know.
Well, after the College Station experience.
Yeah, and then then Sunday.
Then it was time for Tiny Toilet Time.
We went to Halcyon Games.
Which, okay, look, I'm gonna be honest. Halcyon Games, you have a wonderful store. I cannot say enough great things about the store, the location.
Your staff is wonderful.
Your staff is great. Your two toilets in the same bathroom.
Right.
However, and look, you earn that WPM premium subscription. And I'm willing to pay a little bit of the premium tax, right? But can we do something about the $50 price tag for, like, no prizes?
So a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, well, the PTQ kit costs money, right?
I've seen people show me, like, their screenshots of how much it costs.
I know how much it costs too. It does not cost that much money.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real cost, right? Like, you have to order it. You have to buy it with the pins.
If you get the pins in the lanyard, I think it's like $250 total, right? Including if you get the pins. If you don't, right, it's like $100.
It's like $95 without the pins, just the promos, yeah. So like 32 players. And also, capping your events at 32 players, stop doing that.
Well, that place can't fit more.
Sure, you're right. But, like, that makes the tournaments real. I mean, not just, 32 for a 5-round Magic tournament makes it's nice when you 3-0 and then just lock up top 8 immediately, right?
Yep.
But it's kind of brutal. There's no room for mistakes there.
Yeah.
X2 all dead.
Yeah, we'll talk about my experience in the X2 bracket at the end of the day. It's again, and it doesn't always happen like that, right? And it does suck when it happens. We've talked about this before. Like, it is rough when, the 4-3-0s draw at round 4, knowing they're going to draw again. And then the X1s realize, like, oh, wait, there's 4 of us too.
Yeah.
You can also just draw.
Right.
Then it's like, all right, cool.
Yep. It's nice and clean. It's definitely nice and clean. You get the third win, and you're solid. Yeah. Yep. But it means, like, very few mistakes can be made. And then, man, I just, I have to tell you, I say that I'm a god, but I am, in fact, a mortal man.
We found that out.
We found out. I do bleed. I do also mulligan to 4 and die, So yeah. I, too, can be run over by a Consulate Dreadnought, hasted by Reckless Stormseeker. So it's not just you.
A Consulate Dreadnought.
Mama said there'd be daylight.
Yacht?
Oh, sorry. Sky Sovereign, whatever it's called.
Consulate
Sky Sovereign Consulate Flagship. That's what it's called. It's legendary. There's only one.
There's a lot of 9/11 boats. There's a lot of 7-Eleven boats, though.
Yeah, lots of 7-Eleven boats. You can pull up to a 7-Eleven boat at any time of the night, 24/7. But the Quick 02, which felt way better than second place. Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now, and people will always tell me I'm wrong. They'll be like, how can you complain about a second place finish? You did so much better than literally all but one other person at the tournament, right? Yeah. And let me tell you, nothing feels worse in the entire world than a second place finish at a 1-slot RCQ. You'll feel it one day. It happens to everyone. And it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It is painful, and you will replay that match 27 times, not sleeping that night. It is. I would much rather scrub out than get second place.
Ricky got night terrors Saturday night, and I had to go check on him, give him a little more milk to go back to
Yep.
sleep.
Mm-hmm. I thought more about Ijongo. I thought more about how many Thalias my opponent could have.
Yeah.
There's always more Thalias.
Meanwhile, I started off on the 0-1 bracket, off of just like probably one of the closest matches I've played. So I played boat. I played boat on Sunday. I've shown the basic stuff. I played boat. Overall, my thoughts on boat. I'm not going to say that it is like a hard deck to pilot. I'm not going to say it's an easy deck to pilot because no, it's true though. I think that like part of what makes the deck like the lines are there for you. You're like that's why it's not a hard deck to pilot. Is it's like it's pretty easy to like see the lines. Like
right,
you're gonna play big dumb idiot swing. But I think what makes the deck hard to pilot is that your draw is very deterministic. You are very locked into your draw.
right.
You don't. At least the build I was playing the pack leader build without Gigantha, and even with pack leaders, right? Like I was still pretty locked into my draw. I was only drawing like one or two spells. I'm not a big fan of the favorable builds of the deck. I do think pack leader is the right build of the deck, but again, like there's no real there's no like Coco advantage. You're very locked into your draws, so you have to be very careful in your timing. You have your one obliterating bolt, and you really got to think about like, what am I killing with this obliterating bolt? What is the right thing to take with this Akroan War? Because it's probably the only interaction you're going to see that match.
First event, I have not top 8'd with Phoenix.
Yeah.
I have not missed the top 8 of an RCQ with Phoenix.
Yeah. So, like, my round 1 was, like, the closest match of Magic I think I've ever played. It was, like, we go to... I forget who wins game 1, who wins game 2, right? But we trade wins there. We're in game 3, and it just comes down to I can't kill a Redain, and I get my opponent to 1, and their Redain is at 3 power, I'm at 3 life. Like, it was like 1 life point difference. It was such a close game. And it's one of those games where it's like, I just didn't do anything wrong. Like, I just lost, right? And that just happens.
Is Redain a 3-4?
It's a 2-3, but he Luminarched it 1 turn.
Oh, that's the thing. When you play red-based removal decks, like that Luminarch,
yeah,
that Luminarch makes things real tricky. Like, it's just like, if that Adelaine gets 2 counters on it,
yeah,
I'm never killing it in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And then we rallied. We had a good rally, and then we ran it enigmatic, and just like Rakdos, you can try to get under them, but it doesn't help when your opponent already has their enigmatic targets in their hand.
Right.
Yeah. But again,
enigmatic is a hell of a deck.
It really is. It's good. Kudos to anyone who like is willing to play it in paper.
I mean, I like my matchup for it. I don't know how everybody else seems to not like that matchup. I enjoy the matchup.
Yeah.
Mono White likes that matchup too.
Yeah.
So
I think if I was still playing Orzhov, the matchup would have been fine if I was on Orzhov for the event. But overall, like I don't hate my deck choice. I like Boat a lot. I mean, again, it came down to just like opponent drew better match 1, and then we hit our worst matchup arguably.
Right.
So
you still got Nykthoses, right?
Huh?
You still got Nykthoses, right?
I still got Nykthoses.
Why don't you get a run back mono black now?
Run back mono black.
Yeah, you're the one who wants to play Obliterator, right?
That's Chris.
Run back mono black.
I don't have Obliterators.
Invoke Despair all over your opponent.
Oh, I could poke despair all over my opponent.
I know you want to.
I do want to, actually.
Oh, man.
I have like one more card order in me, I think, this season.
I have one more card order in me.
And I don't know if it's elves, I don't know if it's hammer, or it could be something else. I think I can squeeze one more deck this season, but that's probably it.
What are you off of elves?
I need Tyvar, I need Circle of Dream Druids, and I need Chords.
The deck plays like 2 Circle of Dream Druid. Circle of Dream.
We're actually on more now because of Tyvar.
Is there a way you can play Kayla's Reconstruction instead? In the mana base, fill it out?
No.
You got Jaspara Sentinel.
I know I have Jaspara Sentinel. I don't know. We'll see. I really do kind of want to play Elves in an RCQ.
Yeah, it seems sick to me.
Yeah.
Man.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I got one more card order to me this season.
Or just mug Chris and play Angels.
That is always the option, right? But he only has 2 Resplendents, and he's going to have the Youthful Valkyries.
Elizabeth has Youthful Valkyries.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I have one more deck. Maybe we just use those Nykthos in Smooth Rain, people.
Yeah, maybe just go back to mono green, right?
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of anything else for the RCQ recap before we go to the apple juice break.
No. I need to, smoke my water and refill my cigarette.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take a quick apple juice break here and get a quick word for our sponsors. We'll be right back with more show. Support for Crew 3 is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate in men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping using the code Crew3Pod. That's capital CREW3 POD at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 14 million balls. The Performance 4.0 package has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear, nose, and hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, and Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel egg to hold all your goodies. Crew 3 was nice enough to actually receive a package of these, and I cannot overstate how great it was to get to use these products. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This is their trimmer of the future grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight if you need a more precise shave. As someone who has had plenty of accidents back in my day, I definitely feel a little more safe. Had no issue using the Lawnmower 4.0. You would thought that was good enough, though, but you want to take your grooming to an even further next level. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides the proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in all those delicate nose holes. As someone who, again, has spent a lot of time plucking out nose hairs, having this without just getting the tweezers in there and just yanking them out, this has been a great game changer for me. So it's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Crew3Pod. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code Crew3Pod. Once again, that's capital CREW3Pod. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends at PlayingMTG.com, your new home for all types of Magic. From RCQ Prep to F&M Spice, they've got you covered wherever you're at on your Magic journey, covering Standard, Explorer, Modern, and our favorite Pioneer. Playing MTG is the place to go to get on the cutting-edge floor of Magic in 2023. Check out their Patreon, linked in the description below of this episode, for deck tech and sideboard guides for some of the biggest names in Pioneer and Standard formats. Just as well, check out their Discord to keep the Magic conversation going, after stopping by ours, of course. Thanks to Manscaped and PlayingMTG.com for their support of this episode. All right, and we are back. Thank you for those wonderful sponsors. We are back for Apple Juice Break. Ricky, have you refilled your cigarettes and
I have
water?
refilled my cigarettes, and the way you were coughing at that joke, I was like, maybe you need to lay off the cigarettes.
Look, Dad said they were cool. That's why he never came back.
Yeah, Dad never came back. Cigarettes must be pretty cool.
That's still like my favorite way to explain an anime ever. The Hunter x Hunter joke.
Yeah, that's Hunter x Hunter. That's the whole plot. Cigarettes must be really cool. Oh man. So Pro Tour's coming up.
So Pro Tour, believe it or not, is next weekend. 3 days of coverage. Friday, Saturday are Swiss, which will be 3 rounds draft, 4 rounds constructed format, which is Pioneer. So hey. A few changes this time around. So it's first to what? How many points in your auto?
Once you get to 12 wins, right?
12 wins,
no,
yeah.
It's not 12 wins. It's not 12 wins. 12 wins. 12 is, well, no, it's 12 wins, 16 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get to 12 wins, you get to ascend.
Is it 12 or 16? Is it 16 or is it 14 rounds?
Is it 14 rounds?
Hold on.
It might be 11 wins.
Oh, geez. How do we mess this up? round 12 onward. So let's see here. 12 match points gets you to day 2.
Okay.
And then 12 wins is Sunday's top 8.
So you could 3-0 your draft and then win your very first. You need 12 match points to, and then what was the second thing?
It's 12 match wins to lock top 8.
Okay, so yes,
30 match points
out of 14 rounds.
So sorry, I was wrong. It is it's 8 rounds in day 1, so it's 4 draft, 4 constructed.
3 draft, 5 constructed.
3 draft, 5 constructed.
You always draft 3 rounds, right?
Huh?
You only draft 3 rounds.
Yeah, 3 rounds. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So lots more Pioneer. So 8 rounds and then 8 more rounds, 16 rounds?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then you lock it up at 12 wins?
Correct.
That sounds dope.
Right?
I like the idea of ascending into the top 8.
Keeps the team draws out.
Yep. It makes the last rounds exciting.
Because
all the people who have locked it have already gotten out, right?
For sure.
So I like that change quite a bit.
I definitely think it's going to be good. I'm trying to think here what else. I mean, so Friday, Saturday, Swiss rounds. Sunday is the top 8. We're talking about maybe simul streaming at least the top 4 of the event, and I might do some on like Saturday afternoon. Just kind of depends what's going on that weekend. So either we'll simul stream it on Twitch or we'll be at Discord. We'll have that kind of finalized if it's going to be on Twitch or Discord. So I think we're allowed to simul stream it, essentially, as long as we just don't like hard like talk mess about people, and like as long as we're just like civil about it, right?
I think like as long as you're adding something, right? You can't just like sit in the corner and like eat your hot pockets while you watch all of the Fast and the Furious movies, right?
Yeah, but I was thinking about like who was the band player that like got unbanned and then just like simul streaming an event and just like ish talked the whole time and got rebanned because of it.
Oh, I don't know who that was. Bertoncini got rebanned because he was cheating.
Yes. Again, who would have thought? But yes, I mean, we'll restream or something. We'll simul stream it, something. We'll talk about it with everyone. Get some opinions and just like hype up CatCam. Let's hype up Pioneer. You know.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm ready for the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I think so too. So, I mean, let's take some time. We've seen the online metagame right now. Weirdly, cards weren't available, yet they were still legal. So the challenges were giving out full sets of Phyrexia. So cards were available, but in like limited quantities. So we don't really have events with new cards. Well, we're kind of getting them now, right? Because the set's dropping online. So, and I do think that While we might see some new decks in this weekend's events or into next week's events, I think a lot of the real tech is going to kind of be hidden until the Pro Tour. So just kind of generally, where do you think Pioneer is currently at right now? How do we want to talk about this?
I think Pioneer currently is like a good 6 to 7 deck format right now.
Sure.
I think that like we've seen like Rakdos mid range, at least in paper, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Uh, not to not to discredit anybody at the lovely, wonderful playing MTG and their weekly tier list, right? Um, but I have not seen a Lotus Field combo player do well at any event that I have been to. There have been a couple, and they've done decently. I think they've all missed top 8 so far that I've seen in
Mm-hmm.
paper. But I do think that's still a deck, but it's kind of more fringe. I wouldn't like say that's like a pillar of the format right now. I think that definitely there is still Rakdos. It's still around. It's like 5 or 6 players, maybe 3 or 4 players, hoping that they miss all the matchups that are bad for them now, right?
Which is a drastic shift because I feel like up until recently, a third to half of our events were all Rakdos mid range players.
It's
And so,
true.
like, if you prepared yourself to beat the Rakdos matchup, like, you kind of had a solid chance of top aiding.
Well, they've just got so much like work cut out for them right now. They've like mastered their mono green matchup, right?
Yeah.
Mono green is not the insta lose that it was before. You can win quite often. You play extinction events, right? Like
Yeah.
you can beat through mono green, but you normally cannot beat Grohl vehicles or enigmatic fires.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my opinion, the 2 decks that are like poised to be like the top decks right now
Sure.
because they just beat up on Rakdos mid range so hard.
Yeah.
And then because there's been a like unsurgence of Rakdos mid range, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of aggro decks coming back to the point where like last weekend,
Mono Red won the challenge.
Mono Red won the challenge, and that was before the new Phyrexia cards and all the shenaniganery that happened on Magic Online.
Yeah, that final was split between Lord Beerus on Mono Red and Hamuda on, like, our Featherless Feather type deck, right? Like, our
Right.
Heroic.
Yeah, like the aggro decks are back because Shieldred's not here to say no, and they're just running people over. Mono white, mono red. Even I've seen mono blue spirits researching
Mm-hmm.
in paper. Like the aggro decks, I think are back and they're good. They play up against the green devotion decks really well, and then on top of that, like
Mono
one
Blue
of the
Spirit have a pretty good, like, boats matchup, too, I would assume.
who mono red.
Or Mono Blue would have a pretty good boats matchup, too.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then you have like angels as I think the better tribal deck between angels and elves.
Whoa.
I like elves. I think it's a cool deck. Angels is a little ridiculous right now because of how much it beats up on other tribal decks,
Sure.
and also like
The random aggro decks.
it gets like a lot of random like it's hard for Rakdos mid range to interact with, right? It like Greasefang has trouble with it because they can just sort of like have enough life that Perhelion doesn't do enough damage, like 13 life, sure.
And their creatures can just also
Fly.
just, yeah, and Stonewall, right?
Right. Another thing is against Phoenix, it's a miserable matchup because everything has 4 toughness and they all fly, so you're not going to like sneak over your wins with your Phoenixes like you normally do.
Mm.
So like I think that Angels is really well positioned right now. Even Rakdos has been having a hard time against the deck as they've been playing more power word kill recently,
Sure.
which just is blank against Angels.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it kills Bishop of Wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and like they just sort of run away with advantage with cards like Kayla's Reconstruction and Collecting Company.
Mm.
So I think that Angels is really well positioned. I think Grohl Vehicles and Enigmatic. I think those 3 decks. and even mono white humans are like really well positioned.
Sure.
And then I do think that like Rakdos, mid range, and mono green, I think those 6 decks are going to be like the pillars of the format. As
Uh-huh.
weird as that sounds, because like Angels is like super fringe because of how expensive the deck is. I think.
Well, Angels just became like. My thing is, like, I think there's always going to be like a top Coco deck, and it just happens to be Angels right now.
Right. Like the Angels deck, I don't know. Like it's what is it? How much? If you want to
It,
buy the deck on TCG Player, it's like $400
yeah, it's stupid expensive.
or 600 on Card Kingdom.
Yeah.
Um, $171 that is going to be 4 Resplendent Angels.
Ugh.
You're going to spend $40 on Youthful Valkyries. You know,
Thanks for putting a playable uncommon in like a stupid product that no one bought.
a Johnny Strength of the Pride is one of the funniest cards in this matchup. By the way,
Oh, really?
if you have 15 more life than your starting life total, right?
Uh-huh.
Each artifact and creature and a Johnny get exiled, or each artifact and creature your opponent controls and a Johnny all get exiled.
Oh.
And it's a 0 ability, so you can just pop it right off. You just play a Johnny and say one-sided board wipe, please.
Cool.
And it's the mirror breaker, that's for sure.
Speaking of one-sided board wipes, real quick, we forgot to mention the promos they showed off for the next season.
Oh yeah,
Patient promo is a dope-looking Unholy Heat.
heck yeah,
Uh,
Unholy Heat.
and the top 8 promo is Eldritch Evolution, and like they said on the stream, I don't know if this is a werewolf going inside out or what is going on here, but that boy just ain't right. And
The
then,
art is definitely wild.
and then the regional championship promo is a gorgeous Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
It is a nice Ugin.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Gideon I'm going to get in
Oh, is it Ally Zendikar? Which Gideon is it?
Ally Zendikar with new art for the San Diego.
Yeah.
And then
Monster Mentor's Dallas, right?
Snapcaster Mage Dallas.
Snapcast Mage Dallas, that's right.
With like the old looking art where it looks like he's from like I think it's like Mark Poole art, right?
I think so, yeah.
But
anyway, back to current Pioneer
back
things.
to the meta and like
Yeah.
things like that. I think that there's lots of decks on the fringe that have like good shots at Pioneer, right? I think Abzan, Greasefang, Elves, Phoenix, all very good decks that are kind of like fringe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Lotus and Azorius, which are like I guess a little like I would say like maybe tier 1.5 ish, right?
Sure.
Those are around.
I mean, look, are we gonna like sit against like Nassif or Wapotapa like coming in with blue eye control and just like running it?
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's the Pro Tour, right?
Yeah.
So it's where you can also see like the top players pilot decks really well that would normally be a little difficult to pilot. Like as I like Lotus Field and Azorius Control, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, like the Nassif like blue black Narset deck.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like that deck is actually pretty good, but you have to be like Nassif levels of good to play it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sure.
So I'm excited for the Pro Tour, and there's going to be decks that like we are not even thinking about right now that we're not going to see until the Pro Tour.
Yeah. I like Chris would go nuts if like a creativity win happened, right? Like
that won't happen.
We never hear the end of it.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
Like the thing is, like we're always like we're hyping things up, right? And it's just gonna be just like, well, you see, one of the Pro Tours just like really weird mono red build because they just like knew what the field was gonna be and just like played mono red.
That used to be the Pro Tour format.
Yeah.
Was it there was the 3 years or 3 Pro Tours in a row that were won by mono red?
Uh-huh.
That was a sick time. That was a great time.
I think there's also like, man, I had Paulo write an article for Playing MTG this week, based on like a tweet he had where he's just like, you know, like open decklist is nice, but like I miss the days when we had one player who was most likely on our team to be on camera play one Settle the Records in their sideboard. That way every one of our opponents played around it the whole rest of the tournament, but they were the only person that had it.
Right.
And they're just like, you just can't do that with open deck list anymore.
I think the open deck list thing is weird.
Yeah.
I know why it's done now, right? Because of like how MTG Arena works and stuff. Which means it doesn't work, right? Because Arena doesn't have a good way to do tournaments. They have to you have to give each other deck lists to make sure, right? I just want, I don't know. It's super interesting because I think that open deck list format really hurts green decks in this format. As weird as that sounds, right? If you see 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Llanowar Elf on your opponent's deck, you just have no business keeping a 7 that can't answer an elf.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if your deck can answer an elf on turn 1, you throw that hand back and you try again, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that on average, the green decks are going to do worse because of open deck list.
Sure. The other question is, I'm blanking now what I was going to say.
I'm blanking.
I don't know what I was going to say. What do you think of the change in the top 8 format?
The best 3 out of 5.
Best of 5, and the first 2 are unsideboarded.
That's been around before, actually. That's how it used to be.
And so they kind of like rotated about it. They do top 8 differently like every time, it feels like.
Well, you play one game on the draw, one game on the play, one game on the draw, pre-sideboard, and then you get to go into the sideboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like if you got swept pre-sideboard, then that's like rough, right?
Sure.
So like if you get swept pre-sideboard, it's just like like can the sideboard help, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting. I think it's fun. And the play draw rule still happens. Higher seed gets to play draw.
When do we? And I mean, presumably, in this, I think the first
top 12 instead of the top 8, or no? Did they get rid of that?
I think it's top 8
because they did like this weird like.
They kind of like passed. There was like a single limb type situation
where like the top seeds, instead of like just getting play draw, they had like seed 1 and seed 2 got like a bye.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a top like 10 or something. It was like a top 12, and then like the top. It was weird. I don't remember how they did it, but it was like the top 4 players essentially got like buys into the finals, right?
Or like
weird. Huh?
It was like the semis or whatever. So it's top 8. So
it's back to normal.
And its seeding is based on order that you
made it into the top 8. Yeah. So nobody can like have a better seat than you if you are the first 12 winner player.
Yeah. Which is exciting.
So, I'm excited for this Pro Tour. I can't wait to watch the top 8 with you, the top 4 with you.
Yeah.
We'll make a whole ordeal of it.
Yeah.
We'll shoutcast. They do actually have a great staff.
Staff is great.
Gion.
It is so the
Cedric.
It's Elias V, Maria Bertoli, Cheon, Cedric, Marsh Sutcliffe, Manny Devuti. I don't recognize them, and then Corey Baumster. So I think it's a great booth. I think Fire Shoes also tweeted he's going to be like in the feature area helping out or something like that.
Yeah, he's going to retweet the whole time.
Yeah,
I really want him on the show, but his Twitter DMs aren't open.
Fire Shoes, if you're watching us, talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us, please. DM us.
We want to talk about how you like single-handedly kept like competitive Magic going.
Exactly, the savior of competitive Magic, Fire Shoes.
You also who hit the Twitter limit today of like, you tweeted too much, kid. You got to stop.
I think everybody got like kicked out of Twitter for an hour today.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, because I was like, I think I'm banned. I was like,
I saw that. Yeah.
I think I spoke badly of Wizards enough. I posted one too many greed, and they got me banned. I was scared. I was like,
too many trying to get MBT to come on our show.
Yeah, exactly, right? I don't know if you saw that, like, last tweet was, I just, like, every time a tweet wouldn't send, like, 7 times in a row, right? I would just screenshot it, and I kept, like, adding to, like, my tweets aren't sending, right?
No.
So, like, eventually, yeah. like at the end, nothing actually was tagged in the tweet. All the tweets were just like screenshots of my drafts, right?
Okay.
Uh,
I did
and like
see
it's just
your opponents are conceding against you in Snap, though.
oh yeah.
You know you're a
Uh,
content creator?
they should know that I'm a content creator. Please don't concede. Yeah, it was just like I tweeted. Eventually, it just says the tweet just says help. It's eventually what the tweet just says, and then it's just like it's like a picture of my tweet where I was like, I think I talked with my sass mouth too much and got shadow banned.
I will be streaming one Saturday night, so send me any and all brews if you want to hit the test. Hit me up in Crew3 Discord. It will not just it just will not let me tweet this for like 15 minutes. Anyway, streaming podcast later on 10 after podcast around 10:30. Please tweet. My sass mouth finally got me shadow banned. And then just the final one, help.
Help! I was just like, and then like when that finally did send, I saw everybody else was like, "Can you see this tweet?" And like it was real quiet, and I was like, "Okay, all right." Because then I started like trying to reply to people. I in
Yeah,
fact found a WotC post, right, and I tried to send the greed image, and it was like, "Nope, no greed image for you."
good
And I was
test.
just like, I've been got. They found me.
Oh man. Good news in my Marvel Snap update though. I got Iceman finally, so
Ooh, Iceman, the game begins.
I just need that sunspot now.
So, what do you think about the Pioneer format? You heard me ramble on for
Yeah.
hours and hours.
So let me check one thing. I think there is a mailbag question we can kind of roll into from this.
Oh, you want to just roll right into the mailbag? Just get
Well,
right on in there?
I think
I think a nice short and sweet episode of as we recover from getting our behinds handed to us from.
so yeah. I mean, so I generally think Pioneer is it's interesting right now. I think that like I'm more liking the Pioneer format right now, definitely than we were 2 to 3 months ago, I would say, where it just definitely felt just like Rakdos or bust, Mono Green or bust, really.
Right.
Like and then eventually Mono Green died, it was just Rakdos or nothing. If it doesn't have the Rakdos mark, it's not real Jurassic Park or whatever. It's just
It doesn't say JP. It's not a real Jurassic Park merch.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh
And so just like, but as we've gone along, I think the Pioneer Farms finally realized just like Daddy Wizards isn't always going to be there to like pick up the pieces when we just don't want to metagame or innovate. And so we've seen decks like Boat exist. We've seen shifts in the meta. We've seen like builds change. And I just think like Pioneer finally learned to like have the modern problem of like we have a lot of the old modern problem. We have a lot of decks, and some days Affinity is going to win because no one's ready for Affinity, and some days Affinity is going to lose because everyone's prepared for it. Right. And I think it's a great place for a format to be. Now to say though that
more
I potentially wouldn't still mind Daddy Wizards to come in is a different story.
Okay, what do you want Daddy Wizards to come and ban?
So I just feel like from a just card value standpoint, right? And again, I don't like this isn't me saying like there's a problem and this needs to happen. I think we're past that. The format has evolved where these aren't problems anymore, right? Like, I think if we want to revisit a mono green problem, as much as we are anti Karn, I think like I've had enough time to sit and stew and just think like, does the format really need Cavalier of Thorns?
Cavalier of Thorns is fine.
No.
No way that's the card we hit.
I think it is because, like, when you think about it, Cavalier is what it really enables a lot of the dumb ish that happens where you have nothing on the field, you storm, you hit Cavalier, you hit your Nykthos off of that, you've gained like 4 to 5 extra devotion from where you were, and Cavs really helps you bounce off. I think
that
about
without Karn.
I mean, I think the deck is fine. I don't know. I just think like
The
the
real
deck.
problem is the Karn passive. That's the actual factual problem here,
Sure.
in my opinion. Is I think mono green is a fine deck. I just think that the Karn passive literally just restricts so many decks.
Okay. But this isn't me trying to be like, again, I'm not trying to do the format.
Yeah.
I just want to be
Right,
clear on this. I think that like there's too much value in Fable, and I think it does lock out the possibility of other mid-range decks. When you're looking at building a mid-range shell, and you start thinking like, cool, what's my value engine? Oh, I can't play Fable, right? Like I've been playing like this Orzhov deck lately, and as great as One Announcement is, it's still
right.
not Fable. I think Fable really limits the the viability of mid-range decks. It's very much like, why are you not playing Luris? Luris, like, it's a very similar effect, I think, on the form of aggro decks. Just like, why would you play an aggro deck that can't play Luris? Um, Almost similarly, like, I think Enigmatic is close to too good. Like with the right it's a deck that like,
I think that Leyline Binding might have broke Enigmatic
yeah,
for sure. I think that like that is now really abusable,
yeah,
and just the fact that like Leyline Binding comes down on like turn 3, turn 2,
yeah,
you know, and then just like answers whatever it needs to answer, and then later it just you ship it off and get an Agent of Treachery.
treachery, yep,
It's just kind of sick, you
yeah.
know. And then because of how Leyline Binding works, it gives back the card immediately on the sack,
As you
like
just take it
without
back with your
without
treachery.
the stack. Right? Yeah, exactly. I think if it worked like old O rings used to work, right, where like it has a trigger,
Sure.
we could like I think it'd be fine because you can't Agent of Treachery the card that you put underneath the Leyline Binding, right?
Yeah.
Be a little more fair, but yeah, I think that deck is kind of absurd.
Yeah.
Uh, Always spell Pierce Nylea's presence, by the way. Never let that resolve. Don't let them. Don't believe any of the lies they tell you. It draws a card and then they have perfect mana forever.
Yeah.
Punish.
Again, like I don't think Pioneer's in a bad place right now. I think it's a perfectly great format. Decks do just need bad matchups, right? But if we're looking at decks again, I think those are kind of hits I would like to entertain and just kind of see where the format is after that.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. But you know, it's been really interesting though. I think the last few weeks seeing the big change again, like we were talking about, from a lot of Rakdos to just like, where's all the mono white coming from? Why are
Right.
they all here? I'm
Right.
scared.
Do you think like Tectonic Edge would be good for Pioneer?
Ooh, Tech Edge might be pretty interesting.
I'm just
I mean,
saying like
we already have like Field of Ruin.
that costs 2 mana to activate, and
Yeah,
they get a lamp back.
sure.
But like Tech Edge, right?
Uh huh.
Like you pop a non basic, right?
Uh
So
huh.
we can pop their basics and just sort of like knock off their Nylea's presence, knock off their Chain to the Rocks, right? I'm just saying.
You want Tech Edge or like Ghost Quarter?
Tech Edge, 100% more than Ghost Quarter.
Okay, all right.
But I guess like Ghost Quarter is easier to reprint because it's not, it was reprinted at Innistrad, right? So it's like right there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just go get it. We just go to Innistrad real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly. Tectonic Edge is like way, way, way back in World Wake, right?
Yeah,
So
but Innistrad, it's right there.
it's right there. We went to it twice last year, so
We've got a lot of cards in that set already.
exactly. Snapcaster, when?
It's not happening. Never.
Still have
Um, Mondrak, give me Lingering Souls.
no, no lingering souls.
That's the deck I really want to figure out. Is just like
The
Mondrak,
Mondrak token spec
Mondrak plus Voice of Resurgence.
that is hot. We've talked about this a little bit, and I
Yeah,
think that is hot. Just like some green white, like Dahlia, Mondrak,
Adelaine.
yeah, Adeline. Just play green white stuff.
Yeah,
Sure, I'm in. Sign me
Yeah,
up for 2, right?
let's do it. All right.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, I mean, look, Pine is great. I can't stress enough how great this part is right now, and I am excited to really see it on the
Big
Pioneer
screen.
page, on the big screen.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I'm gonna kind of
Time for the mailbag.
yeah, I mean, I'm going to skip ahead a bit. We got a lot of questions here, but I think I'm going to skip ahead to the one I think is very poignant, and so we'll come back to all the few questions that we've kind of skipped here, and we'll come back to those. But also make sure you keep putting in Pioneer Mailbag questions. But I think we'll kind of wrap things up here. It's time to go to the Pioneer Mailbag, which is of course sponsored by Wonderful Patreon, patreon.com/crew3mtg. As our other sponsors, you guys are the ones that really help us keep the lights on with your direct support of the content you like that we love to produce for you. We got wonderful tiers available, so be sure to go check those out. I have ordered the swag bag cards for February now. So once those get here, they'll be shipped out, and hopefully everyone has received. Hopefully the ice storm last week isn't delaying all of the January swag bag cards anymore.
I'm excited for the January ones.
Yeah. We those have gone out, so hopefully everyone will be receiving those shortly here. If the ice storm didn't really like mess that up for us. February though should also the February mailbag should also be pretty good. But remember the mailbag cutoff every month is the 10th. So I generally have some extra older swag bags available. So if you sign up after the 10th, I might be able to send you one of those. But to make sure you get every month's swag bag mailing, sign up by the 10th.
Right.
Those orders. But I mean, we have other great tiers available with other X tiers rewards like exclusive content. We recorded 2 pieces. One of them, which will be out by the time we hear this episode, which is the Pioneer Top 10, which is
Right.
us picking our top 10 cards.
Fighting.
Is
Murdering each other.
the infighting, right?
Right.
And then I haven't decided. We recorded video for that, so I for sure gonna have the audio done. I might not have the video ready, but the audio will be up. And then if you want to watch the video, come back like next week for the video version of it. That'll be Patreon exclusive as well. And then Ricky and I, while he was here this weekend, we did record the big One Piece,
Speaking.
podcast.
It was
So
fun.
so be sure to watch that. So yeah, and then of course, any tier of the Patreon gets access to our exclusive Discord channels where you get to ask mailbag question and just kind of talk with us. Since we will kind of reach out and ask for episode ideas, thoughts, to slash missions like last week. So again, everyone on the Patreon gets access to the Pioneer mailbag, the Patreon mailbag, where you can ask a question just like this. This question comes from Icewater with the Sick Sanic
Oh yeah.
image here. That's the question. Do you think Pioneer will change drastically once the Pro Tour begins?
I don't think so. I mean, how long is it until March Machine? Right. That's when the next time it should shake up. There might be a post Pro Tour banning.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be. I like where the format is. If they decide to shake things up, I hope it'll kind of be like a light shake up, right? Like it might just be like Karn Fable.
Uh-huh.
Not say that's a light shake up, or like maybe even like Karn Fable Fires,
Sure.
right? Or something like that. Leave the enigmatic, but like take away fire. I don't know. That might be wrong. Leyline binding. Who knows? We'll figure it out, right? But like hitting those 3 decks, I don't know. I think it'll stay the same though. My prediction, my official prediction.
Okay. All right. Nose to Ricky.
No bans.
No bans.
No bans.
I
Not
agree.
until battles get released.
Yeah. Did you see the teaser in the rules update where they're just like, we added a section of the rules about battles.
And
Currently, there are no battles, but that could change in the future.
Oh my god. Lame. Ugh. Battles. That's what's going to change Pioneer. Everybody's going to play mono battle.
The tracks of battles.
The only thing that I'm really excited about with battles, right, is that we know that they go in the deck.
Yeah.
And you can find them, right?
Uh-huh.
They're not like a weird, like,
Side deck, extra deck.
Side deck, extra deck, oversized card. There's nothing stupid, right?
This is my Vanguard.
At the beginning of your game, reveal your commander, and then also reveal your battle.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like everybody's like. It's going to be like Space Jace, where you like send your creatures to 3 sectors, and I'm like, no, we're not going to play Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. It would make so much of Magic like not go backwards, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
what's the worst mechanic that's come out recently?
Companion?
Yes. Okay. Since post-COVID.
Oh, man.
Like, what was it, like the 2022? 2021, 2022. What's like the worst mechanic? I guess Companion is a fair answer. Recently, I guess since Pioneer has come out, Companion is the worst mechanic.
And static ability planeswalkers.
I was going to say Day-Night.
Day-Night?
I hate Day-Night so much.
I always forget to be like, oh, wait, Day-Night cycle.
Right. Like, it's just like, once the werewolf leaves the battlefield, I don't ever think about it again. Yeah. And then it's just like, wait, hold on. Your Brutal Cathar actually doesn't eat anything because actually it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Because, like, 2 turns ago, you didn't cast a spell, and then we've just been playing, like, top deck wars since then. Yeah. It's just like, it's so annoying. And, like,
but I do like my Solgaleo Lunala token, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do like that one. I can't wait for the second One Piece set. The special land card, right?
Uh-huh.
Is Shanks ending Marineford.
Ooh.
It's just like him with his sword out that says this war is over.
Uh-huh.
And so now I can have the I'm gonna be king of the pirates day side and this war is over night side. Yeah. But I hate the day and night tracker.
Yeah. It was a good idea to kind of like link up all the werewolf effects, right? But it also should affect the old werewolves. That's what it gets confusing.
Yeah, that's the real thing. Or cards like Arlencord.
Yeah.
Like other random cards that are daybound, nightbound. Like, you remember like Curse of Leeches?
Yes.
That card's like kind of annoyingly difficult for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then like all the cards that like they don't flip, but they just like, you know what? It's daytime now.
Yeah.
Like Sunrise Cavalier and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Anyways. Just random last minute thoughts.
I mean, so my thoughts on the Pro Tour changing things. Man, part of me like really hopes like there's some new breakout deck, right? But I think what we're just gonna see is like an innovation on just don't exist. Like, for as unexplored as Pioneer feels like, I don't think there's an unexplored deck that's gonna kind of like blow open the Pro Tour. Cats, yeah. So like, that's just to say like there could be a new deck that's powered by 1 cards, right? But I don't think we're gonna see like a new breakout deck that isn't built around 1 cards.
I'm gonna tell you, I've been in the labs.
Yeah,
I've been working real hard.
Yeah, is Cat ever good?
I'm gonna tell you that Toxic is a garbage mechanic.
It's really limited.
Yeah, unless you're unlimited, Toxic is unplayable.
What about the Rot Priests?
Nope. Rot Priest is garbage too.
Wow.
Yep. I know I made that tweet where I won in Standard with 1 land playing Infect or Toxic or whatever, right? It's bad. It's not good. Don't play it. Save yourself the trouble.
I do to kind of one last thought about the mailbag question though. I do think having the first Pro Tour back as Pioneer, and again the first we're going to set the format RCQ season. It's just a good sign on the commitment to the success of Pioneer. Like at this point, I don't think Pioneer's going anywhere. Right. So like, if anything, I think this just again fully solidifies the format as staying as an important part of the Wizards' competitive Pi as much as they care about it, or lack thereof care for it. And so I just think like we need to celebrate the fact that this Pro Tour is happening at Pioneer, and like all the Fortnite naysayers, like it's done, it's over with. Like Pioneer's here.
Right, exactly. We're here.
If you don't enjoy the format, like that's fine. We're not going to force you to enjoy the format, but like
no.
But just like, come on. As much as I'm not
eyes that we're going to get on the format,
yeah,
it's going to be good.
It's going to be good, and just having all of these high caliber players focus on the format is going to be an excellent change. We are going to see innovation, I think, but we're not going to see anything just like groundbreaking that people kind of glossed over, I feel like. So that's kind of my thought there. Anything else before we kind of wrap up here?
Now let's wrap it up.
All right, well, Ricky, thank you for joining me. And once again, besides all those wonderful Patreon viewers, thank you everyone who just tunes in every week and helps keep this show going. We wouldn't, even if you don't support us on Patreon, your views help us get sponsors like we had earlier on in the show. So you tuning in every week, we just can't thank you enough for keep trying making the show such success. We love doing it here. We're going to keep on doing it as long as you are listening. Ricky, where can people find you on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter at also Steve. I'm tweeting a lot. Please follow me, and don't just like everything, but also like everything. I'm also streaming on Twitch. You'll see me tonight streaming Standard 1, Miserable, that I crafted all the toxic cards. And that's on twitch.tv/Crew3MTG.
So go back in time and find Ricky, or at least find the VOD of it.
That's right. Well, you don't know how I spend my Friday nights. I might also be streaming tonight too.
Yeah, who knows? I'll probably start out actually just uploading your Magic VODs to YouTube.
Free real estate right there.
Yeah. Anyway, and of course you can find me at Crew3MT at Crew3 Podcast on Twitter, actually, where I tweet about all the kind of collecting stuff like that I'm doing. I'll have some fun pictures this weekend. I'm not playing Magic this weekend. I'm going to be playing some 40k kill teams, so I'll be sure to take some pictures of my minis and kind of the game we're playing there. Have a little bit of fun, some non-Magic fun there. And of course, you can find us if Ricky ever stops backing out on me. We'll bring the Pioneer
Progression. I'll do it this week. I'll do it.
Ricky stops running.
I'll do it next week. I'll do it next. I was like, I'll do it this week. Wait, no, it's Wednesday night, and I got an article to write. So no, I'll do it next week.
Yeah, but like I said, we'll be back with more content there. And hopefully I have a little bit more extra time coming up here soon to start doing some deck ideas like we used to do on stuff like that. Just kind of get the YouTube channel going again.
Heck yeah.
I'd also like to shoot kind of one night a week. But anyway, that is a conversation for not everyone else. So we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.